Viven's actually got to be scared about getting himself killed now. I mean, we talk about stopwatches and how those stop dives, but we also talk about how they don't come online until 6 minutes.
Yeah, Lyra's going to have to hover this lane and really help him out. Phoenix playing to the top half because Dardoch is over there, but he's so far up that actually ganking this is so strange as a jungler. Like, you really want to go after it, but it's like, your mid laner's
he's not going to do anything. Your mid laner's not going to do anything.
He's going to have to go back, swap for TP, and then TP in, even just to hold in this lane against Phoenix.
Lyra thinking about counter jungling towards those Krugs, maybe. Hopping over the ball with the blast cone. Altec and Adrian moved up a little bit now. If they keep pushing up, Lyra might have the opportunity to make some sort of a move down here. Have to see Apollo and Hakuo just sort of farming up blow for blow right now with their opponents. Jumping in, though. Apollo and Hakuo trying to force this one. Grabbing some good damage down onto Altec. Not quite able to find the Winter's Bite stun, but they do manage to make the explosive charge go off. They know they've got Lyra hanging around, so they feel comfortable making that 2 versus 2 aggro decision like that. They're saying, okay, even if Dardoch is around, Lyra's around too, and we think we can win the 3 versus 3. Remember, these 3 players are the ones that marketed themselves as a trio going into the offseason. They were like, look, we want to be on a team, and we want to be on a team together. Now let's see if that pays off. Lyra coming in, looking for some stuns, looking for some damage. Altec getting himself back, though. Lyra taken too low. They can't continue this. No summoners blown on the side of Fox.
That actually gives Dardoch a better back timer, so we'll see what ends up happening with that, because he bought his items. Now Lyra's going to have to do that. Lyra's about 15 seconds slower to be back out on the map, which gives you a little bit of a time window, but he may spot Dardoch here with the zombie ward at the Raptor.
All right, well, things were looking dire in the mid lane for Viven there for a bit, but he has recovered. He's still behind about 10 CS, which you don't want to be, but at the same time, he doesn't have 6.
He only, in my opinion, he only recovered because Phoenix had to back there. So I feel like the struggle bus is going to have another stop here.
Well, show up for now, he's not on the bus. He's just hanging out at the stop, waiting around on the bench, reading something on his phone.
Phoenix is the survivor, apparently. Waiting to get picked up by it again. But Huni in the top lane. Look at that CS. We're talking about Solo.
27. Now, of course, there are a few minions here for Solo to farm up, catch up a little bit, but at the same time, you can see the way these lanes are going. Phoenix is controlling his lane. Huni is controlling his lane, which then allows Dardoch more room to... What's going on? Dardoch stealing away the Krugs. Good ward placement to make sure that they're keeping track of that. And that's kind of what I was alluding to, right? When you look at the fact that your laners are getting shoved in like that, you expect the enemy jungler to make some forward moves, so you want to place those wards to keep track of him. And now under the turret, Solo, remember, he's got the Ignite right now.
He literally just hit level 6. Dardoch's going to try to take aggro. He has stopwatch.
Right, Dardoch goes in. Megadar slammed into the wall. The CC is too much. The first blood over to Huni.
Wham, bam. They take him down in that top lane. Oh, my God. They just demolished him. Solo saw that coming a mile away. And he doesn't have stopwatch to deal with it or anything of that sort. And Huni played it perfectly with making sure that he's not proccing his Meganar just yet and CS advantage. Huni is a monster. He is an absolute beast. And seeing him back in the North American LCS, it's really refreshing.
All right, let's take a look at how this dive happened one more time here.
You see him into the wall for no reaction, and they're just going to pick him up without even having to use Dardoch's stopwatch or passive to do so.
Meanwhile, Clutch Gaming, excuse me, going for that first mountain drake. Pretty early one. Honestly, if you're looking at the game clock, you're not even 7.5 minutes in, so they're grabbing that early neutral objective for themselves.
It's because they got to take control of that bottom half jungle. Whenever you're doing something in League of Legends, you're trading sides, right? As soon as you see Dardoch topside make that dive, boom, light up that bottom side like a light bright and see all those red wards that are in the jungle of Echo Fox's southern side. That allows them to get that drake, and that's what they end up trading for that top lane turret dive.
They go right back into their spots, farming up. Very even CS between the bottom laners. The most even on the map, actually. You've still got that small lead for Phoenix there in the mid lane. The mounting larger and larger lead in the top lane for Huni. That's the mid lane gang from Dardoch going to be finding its way onto the Vivid. There comes your Lutch. Bounce, pulling him back to the ball. He couldn't get himself out with the ulti in time. A misclick from Thabivin ends up getting him killed, and Phoenix cashes in.
I don't blame him for that at all, because that actually looked like Echo Fox were saying, we're going to put this guy in the bounce house, and he's not going to be able to move, and that's going to make you flub your inputs very highly, because you don't really have control of your character for a very long time, and as soon as you do, he was almost dead anyway.
Well played from Echo Fox, making these moves early in both solo lanes. We talked about the successes of the laners. We talked about how that opened up opportunity for Dardoch, and that opportunity is paying off. Dardoch has always been such a question mark in terms of, is he going to work out with this team? He's currently got quite a resume of playing on multiple different teams, and none of those have worked out for him in the long term. Could this Echo Fox team finally be the one that Dardoch can find that success with? Because so far, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, Dardoch, had a realization in the offseason that people weren't jumping to contact him and pick up his contract. But look at this, they're just going to chase Solo down. He has Flash, he has his ultimate. Is this going to be a case where Huni, he is just chewing this rookie up and spitting him out? That is a top lane. Dardoch got all the gold.
All right, so Dardoch takes all the gold. He's like, all right, look, I need my payday. I came up and helped you. This is what my tax is. That's how you really tax your laner right there. You take the first turret gold.
I mean, Dardoch has more gold than his top laner right now by 200.
That's
He's got the most on his team.
You tax the top laner so hard, you take more gold. But looking at Huni, okay, gold tax aside, looking at Huni, coming back to North America from his time on SKT, like, he's clearly learned the ways. He's got it down already. He knows the way,
brother.
He knows the way. But coming back to North America, this guy was on SKT, the premier esports team in the premier esports region. When you look at Huni on a team like SKT and the players he was with, Huni was the question mark, right? Can this guy step up and perform with everybody else? When you go back to North America, when you look at Huni on the squad he's on now, can he get himself away? The Horn gets founded. Glacial Prison not quite going to find its exact mark, but it still gets the slow into the CC, and right as I praise Huni, Clutch Gaming shuts him down.
You did it, the Caster Curse is
Caster cursed him all the way back to the spawn platform. We'll see you in 20 seconds.
Yeah, but this is Huni's style, where he's just going to push up that top lane to the tier 2 relentlessly and then find opportunities to collapse on mid. But speaking of collapsing on mid, hit him, hit the turret, boom,
slap them together. Oh, let's bounce. Not quite going to be finding it this time around. Thabivin says, nope, not repeating this. Still has bad memories from the last time, flashing away from that one. But Phoenix maintains control. 20 CS lead there in the mid lane, 30 CS lead in the top lane. Pretty even here on the bottom side, which is what Clutch needs. Like, you've got to have at least one of these lanes holding on, and especially if it's going to be your hyper carry, that's fine.
Yeah, and we saw Apollo and Hakuho, have really good laning phase. We were looking at like CSD and stuff like that last year, and Apollo was near the top for a very large portion of the split, like number 1 or 2. And it was surprising, but in this matchup here, where he will have pressure on him, he is still doing incredibly well. But there hasn't been any jungle attention from really either side on that bottom part of the map. It's been Dardoch playing to those top lanes. This feels a little bit like Immortals in 2016 in the beginning. Playing to that top side, playing to your solo laners, and leaving somebody like Adrian, back when it was Adrian Wild Turtle, on an island by themselves, right? You had the sustained support. It's like, all right, nothing's going to happen down here. Give that one a couple. What is going on?
Give that one a couple of question mark pings. It's fine. It'll work itself out. Dardoch breaks his stopwatch on accident. You ever been walking down the sidewalk, something falls out of your pocket and it breaks on the ground? That's what happened to Dardoch. He broke his watch.
Man,
feels bad, man.
Phones break so easy nowadays.
They really do. You got to be careful.
I mean, I assume that's Dardoch being like, Huni, I'm sorry about the turret here. Boom.
I took your gold. Let me give you a gold sack back as a present. But that could end up being a problem later. We'll have to see if there's any moment where I'm like, man, a stopwatch could have really changed the outcome of this fight here. And if it did, then we'll come back to this moment. But for now, not really that big of a worry. 120 CS for your Gnar, 88 on the Ornn. Gnar's already got Black Cleaver. Ornn has a Catalyst of Aeons and a Glacial Shroud. That's not really a very good comparison between the money on these two guys. The Gnar, very, very strong. Plus, we know he's just so oppressive in this matchup. We talked in Champion Select. Ornn's strength are the fact that he's so effective at trading against melee champions. Stuff that he can keep at bay from himself, utilizing the power of his knockback and his Bellows Breath. Gnar doesn't care about that. Gnar's just going to keep throwing boomerangs at him. He's going to throw auto attacks at him. It just doesn't matter that much. So Huni's in a really fantastic spot right now. Phoenix in the mid lane has the Stinger already built for himself. Nashor's Tooth and Mercury Treads now completed. Is that the build on Azir these days?
Nashor's Tooth? Yeah, Nashor's Tooth usually, if you want.
Oh,
that was
he
really
got
good.
the hop. Solo tries to knock him away. The auto attacks continue. Not quite able to go the full distance though. Meanwhile, blue turret destroyed. It's not a real turret. It's kind of the pseudo Azir turret, the sun disc, dropping there in the mid lane where it was constructed on top of the ruins of the former clutch mid turret. It's 2-1 in terms of those objectives. So that's part of the reason why you've got this nearly 4,000 gold lead from the side of Echo Fox only 13 minutes in. Stun onto Apollo, but there's your Tristana CC buffer.
Yeah, they have that top turret and that mid turret down, and Clutch Gaming only really able to get that neutral Drake as their one objective back. And this bottom turret, you have to feel like that's where they're going to go next here. Might swap it up. They'll bring Azir down. And Phoenix, you were asking about that build. I feel like if you're asking anybody about builds, I'm just going to defer to Phoenix on the Azir build here.
If Phoenix did it, it's right.
Exactly.
All right, because I've seen a couple of variations, right? You see this, and then sometimes you see the Morellos with the Earther Greaves. So, as somebody who has only ever played Azir in an ARAM and threw my ult backwards, I'm not very well versed in the champion.
Yeah, I like this though because in the version where you go Morellos and Zerker Greaves, you don't get the tenacity. The tenacity is the biggest thing here up against the Sejuani and a Rise.
And a Ornn.
And an Ornn. And you don't want to be blowing your cleanse on something just willy-nilly if you can actually survive it and get away, right?
Fair enough point. Without the attack speed on the boots, then you would need the Nashor's Tooth, but Alltech just hanging out. He knows that he can't move up right now. His support's not nearby to support him, so he's just got to wait for that minion wave to collide into him instead. Hakuo with that demolish that we were talking about, some supports potentially taking, as Clutch Gaming now getting themselves a little bit of extra global gold into the pockets, 3,500 gold down. We saw Dardoch solo the second elemental Drake of the game, the Ocean Drake, just a minute ago. Now he's moving on to the Rift Herald, but he will have some help with this one. Neutral objective game going away of Echo Fox as we move into the mid-game. Laning starting to end slowly but surely as the first turrets do get taken down. Phoenix moving back towards that mid lane. Rift Herald, a lot of times, Irene, we see it used to take down something in mid, but mid's already gone. There's a lot of possibilities.
Tier 2, let's go.
Tier 2.
I feel like
even deeper.
Yeah, I feel like if you get the tier 2, it helps you get that bottom tier 1 a little bit easier. Versus if you use it on bottom, that doesn't really help you get the tier 2 mid as easily. So ideally, you'd want to be able to get that tier 2 in the middle lane, but they may go for just the bottom side because it's kind of the progression that you would naturally use or naturally go through for taking those outers and finally getting in. But we'll see what happens here. But I am just fixated on this Azir from Phoenix. He is at 187 CS at 16 minutes, and just seeing his Azir after it's been so long, right? He played in Challenger for a bit. This is really also another bit. I feel like Echo Fox is a bit refreshing for me to watch because it's like Hooney's back in the LCS. You have Phoenix here on Azir. It's kind of a blast from the past.
Alltech and Adrian that were making waves in their own right towards the end of Summer Split in 2017. And then Dardoch, the potential redemption story. There's a lot of cool things that could happen with this Echo Fox roster. And right now, it's working out. Granted, we are 1.5 games in.
They have not lost yet.
They have not lost the game.
That's
Once
where
they
like,
lose, that's when we start being like, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore. That's when you jump ship.
That's when they probably have like a little thing in their house. It's like break glass in case of loss.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when you start worrying about, well, what about the momentum slip, right? I mean, Hooney was the one talking about the momentum slip. But in all seriousness, though, Hooney did talk about how momentum would be a big factor for this team.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to see if they can manage to keep that going. Coming out of week 1, you mentioned at the beginning of this game, Irene, one of these two teams, which were both mostly projected to be towards the middle of the pack, is going to go 2-0.
Yeah. Look at this, Hooney taking this red buff, or at least fighting for it, whereas Rift Herald's going down on the bottom side.
Wants to get it.
Oh, reset.
Patient's going to reset. Hooney goes over the wall, but 1 versus 3 is not really a fight that Mininar is going to do a lot.
Well, now they get to push bottom lane, and Phoenix is actually going back to mid, so he doesn't get pushed out. I feel like he's not going to find too much here. He's actually putting himself in an optimized position because the Sejuani's behind him.
Shelly has a hard life, man.
Yeah.
You ever notice that? You get spawned, you ram your head into a big building one time, and then people just shoot you to death while your friends all run away.
I mean, it's even worse because she spawns, and then
you got to beat her up.
Come up and kill her.
Yeah.
You then
beat her up, and then she's supposed to help you, but then you just abandon her to take a turret.
Yeah.
Then she conks her head off. very unlucky life of a Rift Void creature. But she did serve her purpose. She did get that turret bottom side. Echo Fox now up 3-1 lead in terms of that.
Is it really that bad of a life if you fulfill your life purpose?
Shelly died a hero. There you go. F to pay respect. Trinity Force completed. Muramana fully evolved on Altek's Ezreal.
Oh.
Now, the fight in the enemy jungle that they're trying to force. Echo Fox wanting to make the moves here, but the disengage from Clutch Gaming is enough to keep their jungler alive.
And that was a teleport from Huni to potentially back them up. And, you know, kind of icing on the cake here is Dardoch actually did get the red buff at the end of the day. He was able to smack them together, pick that one up for himself, and now he's going to the other side of the jungle, where his team is already looking at trying to at least de-ward the area.
I like Dardoch's itemization choice here.
Force completed.
For the Spirit
Muramana fully evolved on Altek's Ezreal. Now, the fight in the enemy jungle.
As well as the enemy jungler are all AP damage.
So you're in a pretty good spot. You just build HP for now and then have that MR on top of it.
I mean, even the bot lane, the one item he has is a static shiv, which procs magic damage. Yeah. All right, I like it. Pushing up mid lane, Echo Fox. They've got the momentum control. They've got the tempo. What can they do with it? 4,000 gold lead. Lyra moving into the top side. Once again, trying to punish Huni here. Manages to land some slows, but now they've got to be careful because
you got to stun him. You got to stun him.
Just 1 versus 2 here.
Yeah, it's like, please stun him.
Trying to get a little bit more damage. Dardoch going in. Comes in over the wall with the elastic slingshot. Phoenix tries to get the ult back. Doesn't quite find it. Still able to grab the kill. It's 2 for 0. Echo Fox. They go right back for the turret. Clutch cannot rotate in time. They're going to be able to bring that mid laner right. Bot lane standing alone. Huni marching relentlessly forward as the tier 2 fall.
And that fight was pretty much the story of the game. The bottom lane walks away without really getting a piece of the fight with 0-0-0 score lines. And the rest of the map is just getting pummeled in CS in these fights. And now the Baron is up and they're ready to turn on.
They're like, you know what? We're not going to wait. Baron's already been alive for 33 seconds too long. Let's go ahead and get him off the map. Killing big purple void creatures is our thing. Let's do it again. Baron burns down. Not even 21 minutes into the game. Echo Fox, 8,000 gold up.
Yeah, this was a fight that Huni's just like, come here, everybody come. Boom, Adrian is already on his way. Dardoch up here too, and they're all ready to reinforce. Dardoch jumps in, and then they take out Lyra. And right here, Phoenix, unstoppable by the way. Looks like he doesn't quite get him, maybe, but the W, the Bellows Breath, potentially stop that knockback. It's hard to tell because he's right on that edge.
Now the Mountain Drake falls for Clutch Gaming. They managed to at least do a little bit of recovery after they lost the big neutral objective. They can at least grab the smaller one for themselves, make it so their opponents aren't just taking everything on the map. But now the great defense begins, Cyrene. You're 8,000 gold down. It's only 21 minutes into the game. Your opponents are incredibly strong, and you somehow have to weather this Baron buff storm for 2.5 more minutes.
Yeah,
it's a tall order.
You're 9,000 gold up. They have an Azir that's going to be able to poke. They have a lot of engage, and they have the Taric, which when the ultimate is back up, he's able to just throw the Cosmic Radiance down on the Zac as he enters, and Zac may bring you back some presence with the ultimate.
And let's not forget about the fact that Zac has a Guardian Angel built into his kit. He hasn't died at all. He hasn't had the passive proc at all.
Sold the stopwatch.
If he wants, yeah, he got breaking the stopwatch in the jungle, hasn't had a consequence at all. If he wants to make a dive, he's very capable of doing so. Clutch has to be so very aware of exactly what kind of a situation they could find themselves in.
And Fox, this seems to be a little bit more of the style they're gravitating towards. Yesterday, they only had a 29-minute game. It's 22 in this one, and there's the Cosmic Radiance.
Oh, flank coming in. Altek can't be saved in time. Taking out that enemy 80 carry is huge. Hakuo gonna be taking a lot of damage. Huni coming into the fight. Emperor's Divide swoops them back. Phoenix grabbing himself a killing spree with that one. Lyra gonna be taking low. Still 4 alive on the side of Echo Fox. But it's going to be Dardoch who gets that passive popped. Lyra underneath the turret, still hanging on. Clutch will not find anything else, but going 1 for 2 against a Baroned up team that's 9,000 gold ahead is absolutely what they're looking for.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best you could hope for in that situation. And then 2 kills go over to Apollo, who has not been put behind and is still doing well in this game. Just seeing... Felt like Huni really didn't get to do a whole lot in that fight. He jumped in, and then it looked like he was stunned for basically a millennia. He was there for so long. We'll see here. Altec flashes away, but he still gets picked up by Apollo's ultimate just coming through. And then Huni jumps in, transforms, stunned, rooted, airborne, stunned. Yeah, got to do almost nothing there, and then ulting right at the end.
An incredible CC chain to prevent what could have been potentially a Mega Gnar into an Azir wall that would have almost ended the game.
Yeah, would have been a disaster there, but that's the chain stunning there from having the Sejuani and the Braum on the same team. We used to talk about this as a big level 1 combination. We saw them try to invade level 1 and try to make use of it with the double stuns, but there we finally see it have some work, because this is kind of the first time we've seen Hakuo alongside Lyra outside of the bottom lane.
Clutch down 2 kills, but in this particular game of League of Legends, that means over 8,000 gold still. Despite that fight win, they've got a lot of work to do if they want to come back into this one. They did manage to put the brakes on that Baron push, though. That's what's really important. Slowing that down, removing that advantage from your opponents. Now they've got some breathing room, a little bit more time to scale, try to farm. Get Apollo, especially, to a point where he can make things happen in this game. He's got the Infinity Edge, he's got the Shiv. Needs one more item to really hit that power spike.
Yeah, Apollo's really the guy I have my eyes on here, because of the fact that, you know, when you're looking at the scaling of this team composition, you will have the orange scale pretty well, and if it does get to 6 items, he'll contribute with that extra forge item. But Apollo is really the one who's packing that punch. The Rise will come in handy for rotational play with the party portal and other areas.
Party portal, I like
yeah, it's
that.
when 5 people get in, it's time for Baron. It's the party portal.
All right, Altec jumping forward to find some poke onto Hakuo. Now the real difficult work begins, because for Clutch, you've got to defend this inhibitor with nothing helping you. This is essentially a fight in open ground.
Lyra's on the flank here.
Hakuo's half dead, and getting deader as more poke comes in. You blow the horn, they run the horn. Not quite today, though. Dardoch bouncing himself away. Cosmic Radiance going to be used. Ultis pop defensively from Echo Fox.
Yeah, I feel like this Azir is just so threatening. They don't want to engage on Phoenix. He has that break point where he's at 2.5, almost 3 items here, but he's still so powerful that he just gets to kind of impose his will on the game with the range that he has with the soldiers.
Mid lane inhibitor down, provides extra pressure now for all of Echo Fox. They can concentrate on the side lanes. They can go for the Ocean Drake in 90 seconds. They can go for the Baron here in 2 minutes. Things are still going their way. They just have to make sure that they close it out cleanly. They don't want any more mistakes like what happened underneath that mid lane inhibitor. Granted, they would have to make quite a few of them to throw a lead this big. But now you've got the Sterix, the Warmog, the Black Cleaver on the Gnar. Your Zac working on getting some armor itemization to deal with that Tristana that's starting to farm up some items. You already mentioned the Azir power spike as Ezreal's coming into more damage of his own. Blade of the Ruined King just now picked up. As I say it, this team is frightening Zyra.
Yeah, and it's even getting scarier as it goes. The Dark Seal for Phoenix with the 7 stacks, because he's pretty much been untouched this game. And I wonder what he's going to end up doing to affect this, because Phoenix on his Azir, we know him as somebody who knows the difference of when he should be diving in and Azir-secking somebody, and when he should be just in the back kind of commanding the troops, firing away.
1 minute till Baron. Echo Fox not really concerned about that Ocean Drake at all. Much more concerned with setting up vision early, which is exactly what you want to see. The time to ward for Baron isn't when Baron spawns. It's a minute or 2 before Baron. Set everything up. Be ready to pull that trigger as soon as you see anybody out of position.
Yeah, but here's the thing is you have to worry about that mid lane with the super minions if you're Clutch Gaming, and you have to worry about Huni on the bottom side, who is about to have his teleport back up. He'll have it up right before Baron spawns, so he's in a good spot here, and he's still beating solo in that side lane. 70 CS up right now.
Sun Disc manufactured on the top lane tier 2 of Clutch Gaming.
This gives you pressure in
a
every
base of
lane.
operations. As now here comes your party portal, but over the wall goes Huni. The Ram comes in, flash over the wall from Solo, looking to take him down. Mega Gnar trying to keep his opponent
Engage
away.
top
Huni
side.
flashing out. Meanwhile, top side, they're looking to make moves. They know there's 2 bottom. No minions to help them remove the backdoor protections on that turret means they have to back away, but Huni lives.
Yeah, but he gets the flash out of both Ornn and Featherman there. Multiple summoners actually from Featherman who really wanted to kill him. It's like, Fnatic, man, remember the days.
Remember the days. Blast from the past, but sadly the blast is not strong enough to take down the very fed Gnar. And now the push continues here on the top side.
And his turret is
talked
still low.
about Phoenix imposing his will on the game, and he only needs a couple more auto attacks to do just that as Huni goes for the Ocean Ring.
Yeah, Huni knows what to do with space. We saw him threaten the red buff earlier. We saw him go and try to extend for a tier 2 and got caught. But he really does just kind of push the limits and say, hey, if you need 2 people to answer me, then I'm going to try to put you in a bad situation and a lose-lose every time. They got 3 summoner spells on that one, and then they also got damage on that top turret, and then they got the Ocean Drake afterwards. So he's really just kind of doing a win more type of play. When you're already ahead, you just keep pushing that advantage with the split pusher.
And honestly, if you're winning, why wouldn't you want to win more? It's the play that's working out for this team, right? Huni constantly providing that pressure. That's what we're talking about with this guy being the exclamation point. He's where he needs to be. He's this constant issue. And if you're clutch, this is so hard to deal with because you've got that in bottom lane, you've got the down inhibitor in mid, and the pressure on Baron.
And he has such an interesting build here, too, because a lot of times we saw Frozen Mallet, right? Well, it looks like he has the Black Cleaver into the Sterix for surviving Burst if he does get Burst down. Also gives him that extra damage. And then he has Warmogs. So when he trades against Solo, who doesn't have his Warmogs yet, that damage will stick, and then he'll be able to back off and continue to split push. But look at this here. Potentially diving in. Lyra's pretty far away.
Baron burns so quickly. True shot barrage over the wall. As now Hakuo may find himself caught out. Glacial Fissure has to be used to disengage this one. Baron goes the way of Echo Fox.
That was really interesting, too, because Clutch Gaming, they were backing off from Fox diving in, which looked like it was a 4v5 because Huni's splitting bottom side.
Huni, now with those Baron buffed minions, will be able to take down this tier 2, build that turret lead up to 7-1. Clutch just struggling to find any impact on the enemy structures at all, while Echo Fox keeps dismantling these things. They've got a barely standing inhibitor turret to take down on the top side, full HP on the bottom side, granted, and that mid lane inhibitor is still down. Once that respawns, it'll be easy pick.
The EU LCS came here. It slipped through his fingers twice.
Yeah.
Where they were the #1 team during the regular season and were looking at playoffs. Winning the spring split with SKT.
All the time, but pushing onto the top lane, tier 3 turret. They
away from Clutch Gaming, and they're just going to slowly chunk away at that.
but they don't quite have the burst. Stopwatch finally going to be used. They grab the kill on their 2018 NA LCS season with a 2-0 start.
very beginning, from literally the first minion wave, we're watching Phoenix do the same thing in the sure that they were still going to be relevant into the mid. You know, 60 CS mark, but then that mid lane that we were watching, Phoenix, it looked like an enjoyable game. He was constantly under his turret, always being harassed, never able to kind of create a triangle between the jungler and then the top laner in the mid lane.
Phoenix. And earlier on, you said that you originally wanted to play with Echo Fox just to play with